Om Shanti, this is the Avyakt Murli of 8th of May, 1973, and the title is The Most Elevated Self-Respect. At the present time, in which stage of self-respect do you consider yourselves to be? Do you know your stage of self-respect? You know that the greatest stage of self-respect at this time, but what is this self-respect? What is the greatest self-respect of this time? By speaking of it, it can be seen that there can be no other self-respect greater than this. What is it? The greatest self-respect of this time is that you become the masters of the Father. Before you become the masters of the world, you become the masters of the Creator of the world. You are masters of even Shiv Baba. This is why they say, Malekam Salaam, salutations to the Master. Worldly children are even the masters of the Father. At this time, you have made the Father belong to you. Throughout the entire cycle, you cannot make the Father belong to you in this way. At present, you can make the Father belong to you when you want it, whatever form you want. In which bondage is the Father tied at this time? The children? You are those who have tied the Creator in a bondage, the ones who have made the Creator into the servant. Will you experience such self-respect at any other time? You have made the Father into your server in order for him to serve you. This is pure self-respect. There is no arrogance in this. Where there is self-respect, there cannot be arrogance. You have made the Father into the server, but there is no arrogance in this. So do you remain stable in the stage of pure self-respect and pride where there is no name or trace of arrogance? Just as Baba always considers you children to be the crown on his head by saying, Yes, child, sweet child, my child who is the master of the world. In the same way, do you remain stable in the stage of being the crown on the head? Where is the topknot of Brahmins? It is on the head, is it not? So a Brahmin topknot means the crown on the Father's head. So just as Baba always gives the children that respect and makes them equal to himself, in the same way do all of you give respect to all souls and make them equal to the Father. Does it constantly remain in your intellects that at this time you have to make from only the one Father and give to everyone else? You souls must not take from souls, but give to them. Simply take from the one Father. You have to give to others what you have taken. You are bestowers, are you not? Does this constantly remain in your awareness? Or do you have a desire to receive from where you give? If a soul keeps a desire to receive something from another soul, what attainment would there be? It would be temporary attainment. From limited souls, there would be limited attainment. From the unlimited Father, there will be all attainments for all time. So are you taking from where you have to take and giving where you have to give? Or do you sometimes change this? If a soul gives something to another, then he would only give that which he had received himself from the Father. Would he not? The slightest desire of taking from others make you fall from your stage of self-respect. When you become instruments to give souls the treasure you have received from the Father, what awareness do you have at that time? Does a soul have anything that belongs to him? You have made that which you have been given by the Father belong to you. If, when you become instruments to give to others, you do not have the awareness that you are giving the treasures you have received from the Father, then you are not able to connect those souls in an elevated relationship. Do you perform every deed while staying in this awareness? You should also have the intoxication of your elevated stage of self-respect. Together with that, what else do you have? Happiness? There should be just as much humility in your actions as there is intoxication in your intellect. The sign of this intoxication is that although you will have elevated intoxication, there would be humility in your actions. There would always be humility in your eyes, and there would therefore never be any loss or damage through this intoxication. Do you understand? Do not just have intoxication. On the one side, there should be a lot of intoxication, but on the other side, there should be great humility. You were told that even the highest and high Father comes as the server of the children. So that is humility, is it not? To the extent that you are great, so accordingly there has to be that much humility. Do you have this balance? Or are you not able to think of anything else when you stay in this intoxication? Do you stay in the self-respect of the intoxication of being the masters of the Creator of the world? In that case, what should be the duty of those who stay in such intoxication? There cannot be world benefit without humility. You made the Father belong to you when, with humility, He became the server of you children. Follow the Father in the same way. At every moment, check how many treasures you have received from the Father. Do you know how many treasures you are the masters of? Countless. However, you can speak of some of the main ones. How many main treasures are there at this confluence age? How many treasures have you received? The greatest treasure is that you found the Father. This is the number one treasure, is it not? When someone receives the key, it is as though he has found everything. Having found the Father, you have found everything. What else have you found? You also speak of this. You have received the knowledge and also the 8 powers. If you speak of each power individually, then each power is a treasure. Similarly, the virtues of the Father that you speak of can also be described as a treasure. In the same way, every second of the invaluable period of the confluence age is a treasure. Just as you receive attainment from the treasures, in the same way you can have an elevated attainment from every second of the confluence age. So this time of the confluence, that is, every second of the confluence age, is a treasure greater than multi-millions. If you were to accumulate multi-millions on one side, and you kept 1 second of the confluence age on the other side, then the second of the confluence age would be more elevated, because the attainment for all time is available in this 1 second. You can tell everyone that they can claim the inheritance of liberation and liberation in life in 1 second. Therefore, even 1 second is so valuable. The time of the confluence age is also a huge treasure. So check to what extent you yourselves have been able to imbibe all these treasures. Or is it that you have imbibed some treasures and not other treasures? You are not missing out slightly on any of the treasures, are you? You cannot be deprived, but if you only attain a little, then too you would become part of the Moon Dynasty. You cannot then be part of the Sun Dynasty. To be in the Sun Dynasty means to be complete. If you are not complete in any aspect, then you are not pure part of the Sun Dynasty. If a soul is not complete, he cannot be called part of the Sun Dynasty. So keep all the treasures in front of you and check where you have reached. How far have you reached? It should not be that you have become happy with only a little. So check all these treasures, and together with that, also check whether you have become a great donor of all the treasures you have received, or whether you have kept them for yourself. Those who are great donors give whatever they have to others. Even then, they themselves do not become beggars, because whatever they give automatically increases within them. So also check to what extent you have donated the treasure of purity to all souls. You also have to check your treasure of supersensuous happiness. Do you keep more for yourself or more for the service of the world? You have attained it for yourself, but the present stage is for using it for world service. Therefore, check to what extent you have used each treasure for yourself and to what extent you use them for others. This is called the complete stage. Have you used all the treasures for others? If you use the treasures of knowledge and the powers for your own effort, then that too is not called the complete stage. Now is the time to use all of them for others. If even now you continue to use all powers for your own self, then when would you become a great donor and one who grants blessings to others? Now practice this in such a way that you do not have to use them for your own self. If you continue to use all your treasures for others, would you become empty? Just as the Father also gave his own rest time, which was essential for his own body, and used it for the sake of world benefit, in the same way, all the powers should be used for world benefit, not for your own self. When everyone has to become equal to the Father, they would also adopt a stage equal to that of the Father, would they not? Only when you begin to give to others will you begin to experience yourselves to be complete in all aspects. In teaching others, you automatically teach yourselves. At present, you take double the time for yourself and a separate time for others. Now do double the work in the same time because there is very little time left. When there is little time, people study a double course, and so this is the time. Time is coming close. So together with giving to others, accumulate for your own self. Do not just use it for your own self. If even now you continue to use it for yourself and continue to waste time, you cannot become world emperors. You have the aim of becoming world emperors, do you not? When the Ganges of knowledge emerged in the beginning, what was the specialty of service at that time? What is the difference between the hairs who emerged at that time and the souls who emerged at this time? A lot of service is taking place now, but there aren't as many hairs visible. What is the reason for this? There is a lot of expansion. So what is the main reason? At that time, they did not have the feeling of mine, but the feeling that they had to give everything of theirs for world benefit. They belonged to one, and they had economy. They were economical with all the treasures. They never wasted anything. The time and powers they had received had to be given to others. That is, they had the stage of being great donors because they were special instruments. Look at how much difference there is in the stage of that time and that of the present time. Now, first of all, some think of their own facilities and then facilities of service. That is, they first think of their own comfort and facilities and then the need of service. In the beginning, they first thought of service and then it didn't matter whether they received facilities or not. They didn't have the slightest thought that they could only do service if there were the facilities available. They did not have the thoughts. Only if we have the facilities can we do the service. Only if we have a companion can we do service. Only if the situation is right can we do service. Wherever you go, whatever the situation is, and whatever facilities are provided, you have to increase service with your own power of tolerance. This is the stage of being a great donor. The fortune of others is created through renunciation of the self. Where there is no renunciation of the self, the fortune of others cannot be created. The Father himself renounced everything, and this was how your fortune was created. So in their initial stage, they renounced all luxuries for the self, and it was through this that fortune was created. Are you making as much fortune for others as you have renunciation for the self? This is why the hairs are hidden. So now, let those sanskars of being great donors emerge. That is, while having all attainments and all facilities, do not get trapped in the facilities, but maintain your own spiritual endeavor. At present, there is little spiritual endeavor and more facilities. Earlier, they made more spiritual endeavors and had fewer facilities. This is why you must now constantly maintain that spiritual endeavor. That is, even while having all of the facilities, maintain an attitude of renunciation through which you can create the fortune of many souls. Bab Dada has given all of you souls the authority of drawing the line of fortune on the hands of others. So it should not be that because of the lack of your own renunciation, you are unable to create the complete fortune of other souls. You have a great responsibility. Just as time is coming closer, so too, The responsibility on each soul of not wasting any thoughts is also increasing. Now do not consider this to be your childhood. Whatever you did in your childhood was good. Even the carelessness of a child is enjoyed by others. But if an adult is careless, no one likes it. Therefore, according to the time, maintain your stage of self-respect for all time and continue to fulfill your responsibility. Do you understand? Acha. To those who make such a father belong to them in all relationships, to the great donors, the images that grant blessings, and the great renunciates who give the donation of all treasures to all souls, and to multi-million times fortunate children, love, remembrance, and namaste. Om Shanti.